Yogurt has quietly become one of the most trusted healthy foods in Australia. Walk into any Coles or Woolworths, and you'll see aisles filled with options labeled high protein, low fat, probiotic, organic. It sounds like the perfect way to support your health, and that's exactly what the problem is. Because a large number of these yogurts are not even what they claim to be. Many are loaded with processed sugar and flavoring agents that improve taste and shelf life, but not your health. A single serving of yogurt with these additives can contain as much sugar as dessert, sometimes even more. So a bowl of yogurt that's supposed to aid digestion and improve your long-term health is actually working against your body. But most people don't realize what's hiding beneath the healthy labels, and millions of people consume these products without knowing what they're putting inside their body. In this video, we'll break down 8 yogurt brands that you should never buy again, and then 2 brands that live up to their health claims. Once you've seen what's inside, you won't look at yogurt the same way again. Before we begin, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Because if you care about what you're putting inside your body, these are the truths you need to know. Let's start with number 1. Tamar Valley Dairy is a premium brand that has built a strong reputation in Australia because of its Tasmanian origin. The packaging feels natural, and many people assume everything under this label reflects a simple product. Most of Tamar Valley's flavored varieties use something called a fruit preparation, which is a processed mixture to control taste and texture as well as shelf life. This way, the company can ensure every tub tastes exactly the same every single time. And to achieve that consistency, it usually includes added sugar with stabilizers and acidity regulators. This is the point where the product is no longer a natural product. Yogurt already contains natural sugar from milk known as lactose. But once additional sugars are added, the total sugar content often reaches around 12 to 18 grams per 170 gram tub. At that point, you're no longer eating yogurt for protein or gut health, but something that behaves much closer to a sweetened snack once it's inside your body. The only difference is that it's packaged in a way that feels healthy. These flavored options are also much lower in protein. That means they don't keep you full for long, so you're more likely to feel hungry again soon after. And over time, that leads to more snacking and more calories. It's a cycle that works against the very reason most people buy yogurt in the first place. But there isn't just one brand doing this. The next one takes things a step further. It builds an entire identity around health, while making trade-offs most people never think to question. Vaalia is one of those brands almost everyone in Australia has seen or tried at some point, especially if you've ever looked for something good for your gut. Since its entire image is built around gut health and digestion, many people trust it instantly and never think twice about what they're actually eating. It is true that Vaalia contains beneficial bacterial cultures that can support gut health, but the broader nutritional profile of many of its products tells a much more complicated story. A large part of Vaalia's range is low fat, which sounds healthy, but removing fat removes the part of yogurt that keeps you full and gives it real flavor. So something has to replace it, and that something is sugar. Across many of Vaalia's flavored varieties, you're looking at around 12 to 17 grams of sugar per 150 gram tub. Now think about that for a second. Roughly 3 to 4 extra teaspoons of sugar every single day from something you believe is improving your health. Regular exposure to added sugar at this level starts to change how your body responds to food. Over time, blood sugar rises faster, and you feel hungry sooner. Before you realize it, you're eating more throughout the day without even knowing why. At the same time, a higher sugar intake is also linked to harmful side effects, like insulin resistance and weight gain. What's concerning is that the product still delivers on its probiotic promise. So you look at the label and think you're eating something that's good for your body, but look beyond the milk and cultures in the ingredient list, and you'll find thickeners and stabilizers that are used to control texture and consistency. This makes you realize the product has come a long way from its simple and healthy original form. So if something has been rebuilt so much, is it still the same food? Chobani is a well-established brand in Australia, particularly known for its Greek yogurt products, which is exactly why Chobani Flip catches people off guard. These yogurts are designed with mix-ins such as chocolate pieces, cookie crumbs, caramel clusters, and other sweet toppings. The concept is simple and appealing, And that's exactly how the nutritional profile changes completely. Most Chobani Flip varieties contain around 15 to 20 grams of sugar per tub because of the toppings. Now, the product doesn't even behave like yogurt itself. Those mix-ins are typically made with refined sugars and processed oils that make the product taste sweeter and richer, and ultimately more addictive. It triggers reward responses in your brain just the same as snacks. So you crave the yogurt more and it turns into a regular habit. In this case, the issue is not hidden. The product is clearly indulgent, but because it is still labeled as yogurt, many people underestimate its impact on their overall diet. And this highlights a broader pattern that is becoming increasingly clear. When a product starts blending indulgence with health branding, it becomes much harder to judge what you're actually consuming. And the next one does this in a way that's even more subtle because it doesn't look indulgent at all. Dairy Farmers is one of those brands that feels familiar. It's been in Australian households for years, which makes it easy to trust without thinking twice. It looks simple, and because of that, most people assume it's closer to real yogurt than the others. But look past the labels, and the numbers start to tell a different story. Many of Dairy Farmers' yogurts contain around 13 to 18 grams of sugar per 170-gram tub. That's roughly 3 to 4.5 teaspoons of sugar in a single serving, and just like the others, a large portion of that isn't coming from the milk itself. It's coming from added sugars used to enhance flavor, because without that added sweetness, these products wouldn't taste nearly as good. The fruit element also comes in the form of fruit bases, rather than fresh fruit, which means you're eating processed sugar and flavoring. Its protein content is also much lower compared to Greek-style yogurts, so it doesn't keep you full for long. What feels like a light, healthy snack can leave you hungry again much sooner than expected, making it easier to eat more throughout the day. Over time, these ingredients start to catch up. Regular high sugar intake is linked to an increased risk of conditions like type 2 diabetes and cardiovascular diseases. It can also affect your energy levels with cycles of spikes and crashes that leave you feeling hungry and tired constantly. Because this isn't occasional sugar intake. It's something people build into their daily routine, all under the assumption that it's a healthier choice. And once again, something that looks simple and familiar starts to feel very different. 5AM Organic is one of those yogurts that almost no one questions. The word organic immediately makes it feel healthier, like you've made a better choice without even needing to check the label. It looks premium and it sounds natural. For most people, that's enough. But this is where things start to get misleading, because once you move past the branding, the actual nutritional profile begins to look very familiar. Take the vanilla bean variety. 18.6 grams of sugar per tub are listed on the product, and the ingredients include organic raw sugar. That's roughly 4.5 teaspoons in one small tub. Protein is 6.8 grams. The online listing also shows a 3 health star rating, which is exactly why this one is so sneaky. If you're thinking maybe raw sugar is different, here's the uncomfortable truth. FSANZ says there is very little difference between the types of sugar you see on supermarket shelves, like white, brown, or raw. Organic and raw can mean different farming and processing choices, but it's still sugar in the bowl. Raw sugar doesn't mean metabolically better, and organic doesn't mean low sugar, because once it's been consumed, sugar is processed by the body in the same way, regardless of where it came from. The Health Star rating can also be useful, but it is not a magic shield. It's a voluntary system designed to help compare foods and is best used within a category. When you're choosing between vanilla dessert-style yogurts, 3 stars might be fine. But when you're choosing between dessert-style and plain natural, the stars can distract you from the ingredient list. Farmers Union is one of those brands that feels almost untouchable. It's a familiar Australian brand. The words Greek style immediately bring to mind a higher protein content. Add to that the pure honey, and it sounds even better. But the labels are extremely misleading, because along with honey, the ingredients list also includes caramelized sugar and a thickener, along with 12.2 grams of sugar per 125 grams serve. This is a good moment to define free sugars, because it explains why honey is not automatically a health upgrade. FSANZ describes free sugars as sugars added to foods and drinks, plus sugars naturally present in honey, syrups, fruit juices, and fruit juice concentrates. That's why a honey-sweetened yogurt can still function like a sweetened yogurt. So when a yogurt is sweetened with honey or sugar, the label will not separate it for you. You have to connect the dots. Sweeteners on the ingredients list, then total sugars on the panel, then your real serving size. That's the whole game. So even though it sounds natural, it still contributes to blood sugar spikes and affects your body's insulin response. And unlike traditional Greek yogurt, with a higher protein content for increased satiety, Greek-style products don't always follow the same process. Some rely on added ingredients, which means you don't always get the same nutritional benefits people expect. Now the tub that proves serve size can be a magic trick. Gippsland Dairy is one of those brands that feels premium the moment you see it. The entire style of packaging and a label that says "Crafted in Gippsland" gives the impression of a yogurt that is high quality and closer to real food than mass-produced yogurt. The Twist range adds to that appeal with flavors like toffee and honeycomb. They feel indulgent, but still sit in the yogurt aisle. The Twist design combines yogurt with separate dessert-style mix-ins, which are heavily sugar-based. The listed serving size is 87.5 grams, with only 5.2 grams of proteins and a whopping 14.7 grams of sugar in that one serving. That's almost 4 teaspoons of total sugar in a serve that's smaller than a standard snack tub. And because the serving is small, it's easy to underestimate how sweet it is. People don't eat 87.5 grams. They eat a scoop. And scoops turn into seconds fast when the flavor is toffee. So while it still carries the label of yogurt, nutritionally, it behaves much closer to a dessert. There's also the combination effect. You're not just consuming sugar, you're combining sugar with fat in a way that makes the product extremely satisfying and easy to overeat. This is not about banning fun foods, it's about calling the category correctly. If you want dessert, buy dessert. If you want daily yogurt, watch for 2 signals: sweeteners early in the ingredient list, and a sugars number that rockets past the plain yogurt range. Woolworths Vanilla Yoghurt is one of the easiest options to pick up. It's affordable, it looks like a practical staple, and leans on familiar ideas like source of protein and high calcium. For a lot of people, it feels like an easy, everyday choice. But that's where the problem begins. Its serving size is 200 grams, with 24.6 grams of sugar in that serving. That's a little over 6 teaspoons of total sugar in something that doesn't even taste that sweet. But that's exactly what makes it so eBay to underestimate. The ingredients list also includes gelatin and a thickener to lock in the texture. So the smooth feel of the yogurt isn't natural. It comes from engineering instead. With a subtle sweetness and smooth texture, people don't usually weigh out 200 grams. They pour until it looks right. This can easily become 2 serves, especially when you're hungry or when kids are grabbing a fast snack. So the yogurt doesn't get looked at like a treat, but nutritionally it behaves exactly like one inside your body. Over time, products like this train your taste preferences towards sweeter foods and make natural yogurt taste bland by comparison. Now the good news? The 2 Australian brands that actually make the healthy yogurt reputation feel earned. Jalna is one of the few brands in Australia that has a strong reputation for doing yogurt properly. It's known for its pot set method, which means the yogurt is fermented in the tub rather than processed afterward. It's a slower, more traditional approach, and it shows in the final product because nutritionally, things start to look very different. Its ingredient list is basically a sentence: whole milk, cream, and live cultures. The brand's nutrition panel lists 3.0 grams of total sugars per 100 grams, and it states at least 1 billion probiotics per 100 gram serve. This is what you buy when you want yogurt to be yogurt: thick, tangy, and not secretly sweet. The protein content is also high, often around 9 to 10 grams per 100 grams, which helps with satiety and keeps you full for longer. Instead of something that spikes your blood sugar and leaves you hungry again quickly, this works in the opposite way. It digests more slowly and supports stable energy. This means it actually delivers on the benefits people expect from yogurt. It's also flexible. If you want sweetness, you can add your own fruit or a small amount of honey in control, exactly how much sugar you're consuming, rather than having it built into the product without you noticing. With something like this, nothing is hidden. What you see is what you're eating. Barambah Organics is another example of how yogurt looks when it's kept simple. It's often positioned as a premium, organic option, but what actually makes it stand out is the simplicity of the product itself. When you choose their plain or natural yogurt, the ingredient list stays very close to its original form: organic milk solids, and live yogurt cultures, without any of the added sugars, flavoring systems, or stabilizers that are commonly used in more processed options. Sugars are 6.2 grams per 100 grams, and there is no sugar ingredient in the list. That simplicity is important for your health because it means the nutritional balance hasn't been altered. When you eat this yogurt, you get protein, natural fats, and beneficial bacteria in the proportions they were meant to be in, rather than something that's been adjusted for taste first and nutrition second. Unlike many of the yogurts we've discussed, sugar levels are low and come from lactose. There's no added sweetness or gradual shift towards something that behaves more like a dessert. The texture is also a reflection of that process. It may not be as perfectly uniform or artificially smooth as heavily processed yogurts, but that's because it hasn't been engineered to look identical every time. Over time, choosing something like this changes how your diet reflects in your health. Instead of repeated energy fluctuations, you feel satiated for longer and more energetic. It also improves gut health and reduces the risk of insulin resistance, diabetes, and cardiovascular diseases. So the next time you're standing in the yogurt aisle, you'll see it differently. What looks healthy isn't always healthy. And sometimes, the best choice is the simplest one. If this changes the way you look at everyday foods, make sure to like the video so more people stop falling for the same labels. Subscribe if you want more breakdowns like this, because some of the most trusted foods are hiding the biggest surprises.